I like that way the organizations protect our animals. We need them. We must have an opposite side to all this violence going on around the world.
There is something about adversity in any animal. We all try to push our limits and try to overcome some form of adversity. You grow from it.
100% agree, and it's true. I put a lot of attention now to teach people that leadership is not violent. Leadership is not a question of corrections or number of how many times you have to correct your dog. It's a normal way of life.
Here we
How
go,
are you?
man.
How is the situation? Come on, tell me a little bit
I
before we
know
start the interview.
it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So I'm kind of like you. I don't think we know how to stop this dog training stuff, you know? Like, I don't think we can stop. I
try.
have my close to 4 or 5 years old now dog that, I'm competing with. This is going to be like hopefully the first year going to the big championships. I got a female that it's 2 years younger. I have a male that it's 4 years younger. And I have another female that I'm actually doing monduring with.
Wow.
So yeah, I think I can just shoot myself. I mean, there is no reason for me to do this besides that they're dogs for my breeding and they're really, really cool dogs. And I feel it's kind of weird, but I cannot let them go to somebody else. I'm like really enjoying the training, and fortunately enough for right now, at least I can spend the time I have. Not that I have time, but I'm making it work. I'm making it work.
But it's a passion, Ivan. It's a passion for you, and you love. I try to explain this sometimes for people that it's very hard to explain it because it's more like I can understand artists, who painting or people who writing music. It's more like a stimulation for them to fulfill their soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they are not allowed to paint, they get crazy.
Where do you
They
go?
get
Exactly.
So for some people, for you example, it's more like an art. It's a way of life. And when they say to you to stop training, it's like saying to someone to stop playing music or painting a painting. You know what I mean? To tell Picasso to stop painting.
Yeah, this is a really good example, actually, because even though a painter's painting, they never paint the same picture. And I think with dog training is very much similar. Sometimes they're the type of trainers that they can be for a very long time in the game, but it's always looking for different interesting things, and that's, I think, what keeps it going, instead of, okay, well, I know how to do it and I stay with what I know, instead of trying to, push the door and see what happens if I take it this way. I think that's where it gets interesting eventually.
But that is exactly what these people do. The arts. I mean, the thing that they can catch our attention with different paintings is because they go out of the box all the time and surprise. I have no idea about painting, you know what I mean? But I can understand the people who have good knowledge and can evaluate and give a number of money of a painting, you know what I mean? I have no idea, but I can understand them. And the same is I think it's with you, and I feel also like that, and people have been in the sport a long time. It's also very hard to promote a training with on demand. So that the competitions is a little bit against our paintings, our art for
The
training, because
the the
the
freedom
training
of
is
the
more
exploration.
the training is more important for us than the result. Then we are competitive people, of course, we hate to lose. And that pushes us to do stupid things, to push us to don't paint with our emotions like the same, huh? Maybe. Now we get very deep, Ivan. I'm sorry, but I cannot explain this for so many people without then, for example, you and a couple of more people more. You know, Knut and I have a nice discussion. Fuchs, he's the same type of guy. He only loves animals. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
He
right.
loves them. He cannot stop. He have everything. He loves to communicate with animals.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Pierre, let me
Yeah.
make a quick introduction.
Yes,
Guys, if
please.
you are strangers to IGP, IPO Schutzhund, I have as a guest Pierre Wahlstrom today. Pierre has incredible experience from many different angles. I know him for quite some time. We have hung out together. Pierre's judged me a lot of times, actually. He's a breeder in German Shepherds. He's a judge. He judges FCI, but he's also a foreign SV judge for the German Shepherds. He breeds German Shepherds. He was a world champion with his dog Rosso the same year when I was world champion with my dog Kenny. Just weird coincidence, but that's how the dog sport goes. He is in the military in Sweden. He does very cool stuff for quite some time now, and this is evaluating dogs and selecting dogs for the army. So thank you. I know we tried to get this going, and here we are talking, and I know that I have so many places that we want to go to. Where do you want to go first? One thing that I admire for you is, besides everything else that you're doing, something that I didn't mention in the intro, like you excite people, you also confront people, but you build a very interesting community around you, and you're helping people to really reach the highest of possible level that they can possibly reach with whatever the dog is, including Natalie winning a world championship last year. And I kind of want to start there probably because you cannot do this without having the passion. You cannot do this without having the patience. It's not an easy thing to coach people, and especially in our sport when coaching is one thing, but then the stars need to line up that day too. And then how you handle and how you teach your trainers to handle the success and the failures. And tell me a little bit about this, because it's really special what you're doing there, I think.
Yes. Thank you, Ivan, and for the fantastic introduction you started. First of all, I mean, you're a legend in this world, not only in the IGP. I mean, in the as a behaviorist with dogs in general, Ivan. So I'm so thankful for have the possibility to join your pod and all the work you do. I see it a lot. You know how to ask the right questions because you have plenty of knowledge, Ivan. So it's very nice to get interviewed by you, because that will be a very interesting, and I really hope that many people take the time and start to follow you and your pod. So the coaching situation, I have always loved to coach people. I mean, when you compete, okay, you are a little bit. This is individual. It's you and your dog, and you're standing there in the middle of the stadium, and all eyes are on you. You have to be a little bit special for like that. I mean, you cannot do that, and if you not like it, but to see other people succeed after your training with them, that's that's another level. You know that too. You have trained so many successful teams, and these people you have trained, and all of the others, and my students too, they know how difficult this is because we have so much passion, and every training is not like candy and flowers and hearts and lots of love. It's hard work. I don't want to use too hard English words because it's rude, but it's very hard work to coach a dog and another people to reach their goals, because that's the first question I ask them when they come to me and want to get coached. And okay, what is your goal? Okay, my goal is to be the world champion. Okay, but your dog is 9 year old. You have no driving license. You take the bus to the training. You have 10 kids. You're living very far away. It's impossible. That's not. You have to have the right material in your dog. Not need to be a super dog, but at least a dog who wants to do this thing. And you as a person need to be, how to say it in English, competitive. You have to only focus on this if we shall fulfill your goal.
Yeah, there will be sacrifices and choices that there is no question you have to make. No
and you know this, and many people know it too. To be the best in the world, you have to train most. You have to do everything, most of everyone that year. And in our sport, you can all not so many get world champion after one entrance in the champ. They have to build up respect for the name. So I mean, the first year you compete, next year, and then the judges and the people knows that this guy, Ivan Balabanov, he don't come with any bad work. He will always be super prepared. Then things can happen because it's animals. So for in Natalie's case, for example, she had been competing many more times with 3 dogs before she
Yes.
became world champion. So she was number 5 with the mother to this female, and she was number 3 FCI with this female, and she built up the name and also teaching the dog. So, and in my opinion, it's like this sounds rude, but I don't care if my students hate me or love me during the competition week. Because if I can put them in so high drive so they hate me and they still fulfill the goal, I'm happy for them.
Yes.
So this is my way to teach them. And the last year we have 5 dogs from 5 different countries actually competing, including USA.
Crazy.
And that was a challenge, and I will never more do it, Ivan. No, that
I
to
can
have
imagine.
to have 5 Ronaldos, 5
Yes.
Ronaldo. Um, I don't know if anyone knows Ronaldo or Messi. Messi
Yes,
is
yes,
more
yes.
humble. This is difficult to have 5 winners in the same group. They all
Yes.
was super nice, all went super well, but it was hard.
Yeah, there is that pressure that is there. Wow, yeah, I never thought of that. That's a
And
whole different.
you know the nerves, and I can
Yes.
tell you this. You know this when I say it, and I want to tell this to all handlers out there, even if they're competing in monitoring or have police dogs or military dogs or IGP or obedience or agility. The weeks before the competition, all people want to sell the dogs or get rid of the dog, or all problems shows up the last 2 weeks, and we destroy a lot as trainers because we
Yes.
are so focused on the goal. So I can just tell you all out there, and I have changed the last 10 years, but the first 10 years I was super crazy. Now I am only crazy, but
Yeah.
continue the way you do. Everything will fix during the week when you compete. Everything will be stabilized. Try to think so positive you can. Try to not be so negative, but you are drained of energy
Yes.
the last month if you're prepared for 5 years. So.
Yes, and then the competition starts and the roller coaster starts, and on top of that, that you're almost empty mentally and physically. Now you have to handle the competition itself. And ooh, I get goosebumps just fuck.
That's and for many people that's the kick. That's like you get addicted to that
Yes,
feeling.
yes.
We started the interview before the presentation, and we are a little bit dinosaurs now, Ivan. Still, we
True,
have a passion to do it, and
true.
I'm sure you will come back again. You will do it again. You will crash and win again for sure. Because we have a passion of the training, and when we're standing there and the competition comes closer, we comes in competitive mood. I mean,
Yes, yes. It's a, as you said, like that there is this addiction. I think we got addicted whenever that happened, and it's a good thing. Let me go a little bit deeper with the coaching. How does the, because I mean, again, you're like one of the most highly regarded judges. You've judged any world championship possible, few of them, few times. I don't know how many times altogether you've judged world championships, but you've judged national championships probably anywhere in the world. I remember when Carlos Rojas did that money championship back.
Masters.
Yes, I don't know if you saw the note, but I think they're planning on making one again. So that will be interesting.
That's cool. That's
That will be.
cool. And I remember you because you have actually a show dog one
Yes,
time, no?
yes.
And you had the best obedience with that dog,
That was
no?
different. Yes,
I
yes.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool. It was the wrong time of the year. It was very warm, so
yeah.
hot there in New York that time. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so when you have this kind of incredible amount of experience in judging, how does that help you coach the people? Because they're coaches, but they are coaches that understand the game. And that's a game changer, in my opinion. How much do you spend time with the people that you train to actually really make them understand how to fight for points, or where does the judging come in place when you coach?
Super question. First of all, we don't. I tell them all, including myself. Try to tell them, and including myself, don't focus on the judges because we have so many different type of judging today. Sadly, but it is individuals and it is a sport, and it's based on people who
Humans.
will. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to focus on what is the trial book saying actually. What is the rules? And then I go super deep into don't focus on that. That costs you nothing compared to what you can lose. That is the constantly going on process in the dialogue with the handlers. So, for example, before when the sit in IGP, during motion was 5 points,
Yes.
I tell them we don't focus so much on that half point because you will destroy your whole sit. Today is 10 points. Now we have to fix that small thing that we ignored before. So it's true. I use my knowledge as a judge all the time, almost only. And I also know when the judges are not super focused. I know when the judges are relaxed. I know when they don't see. I know when they make their notes. And I know when they get tired. So, for example, I know if I shall coach my handler to perform Saturday evening 5:30 in the evening, 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I know the judge will be tired.
Mm-hmm.
We take a risk. We do small things here and there in the program, and not to cheat the judge, but to use the human sensitivity weakness in the program. So we focus a lot, and
I love it.
and and I know this for myself, and of course from all my colleagues out there. Uh, um, for example, we can take one example: the retrieve exercise. We send out the retrieve. The dog is not super fast out. He go out normal speed back. But you have a fantastic finish, Ivan.
Yes.
You grab the dumbbell, the dog is out, he's sitting in the front, he comes very fast.
Good presentation.
The last impressions is the thing when he's standing there or she, the judge, is it a very good or excellent? That was super, So this was one example, just so
Yes.
to use the brain of the judge in a positive way for myself. So the short answer is we focus a lot on this when we train the dogs. Yes.
Yeah. Because I would think, like I mean, I'm sure you also know trainers that train very, very religiously, strong, hardcore training, but focus on the things that not gonna make the points for them.
We have so many good trainers in the world, Ivan. I can tell you so many nice trainers. They have good knowledge. Helpers are good. It's not bad. We have good trainers in the world,
Yes,
is my opinion.
100%.
But we can take one example. Holland, Netherlands. I mean, maybe they have the best culture in the world for dog sport. Fantastic. They have super helpers. All people knows that the Holland helpers. They are super nice, many of them. Handlers, nice. The dog material, different breeds, doesn't matter, are good. Not bad. How many times do we see these countries on the podium?
Yeah, interesting question.
And that's a nice connection to their training is super nice, but I'm not sure that they're focused on what the end goal is with the training. Put many hours every week. Super nice climber in the dog sport, in the clubhouse. Families there, they're joining, they're drinking.
Yes, very true.
And they have fun. But where's the results?
Very true.
I don't know, but
how do you think social media, how do you think YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, how do you think they affect people that don't want to just do tricks, but actually want to compete in a high level?
I am myself. I love the social media. It has helped me a lot. Different things. The small person can still have a voice because of the social media. You can still get out to people, and so. But at the other hand, it destroys a lot too. I mean, they only see us, you and me, and all others. Nice, good trainings. How many times do we really show up bad trainings?
Yes.
I mean, really, the way from the start to the end. And not because it's bad training, because we do something stupid, because we don't filming bad training. We're filming only nice results from competition or how we're teaching in a nice retrieve. They don't see the backyard of when we are tired, when the dogs are tired, and we don't speak about that so much. So I think new people especially, it's difficult for them to understand when their dogs don't do like the Instagram dogs do in general. Maybe this is wrong dog or wrong training system or whatever, but I want to tell them that probably not. We have the same problem as everyone else, and
yes.
Social media is good, but you have to see a little bit between the lines what's happening when everything is not perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ivan.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, it's like the good and the bad and everything in between. It just depends how the individual person uses the social media. It can be a great benefit or it can really hurt you in so many ways. Like I see videos of dogs, like trainer doing some really cool things. It's like, okay, I'm going to teach my dog to lean on me really heavy in a healing. And I'm like, okay, this is very cool. But now there is 20 guys that are doing IGP and thinking this is something I should be teaching my dog. And then there's going to be a wake-up call. And imagine, well, you don't need to imagine, but you guys imagine how difficult it will be to even try to convince that dog not to push so hard in healing after the foundation is done.
Yeah, and then they call you and want help. But I, I try to do on my social media, on Instagram and so on. I try to, at least when I do some posts, focus a lot on the temperament. I mean,
Hmm.
we call it in northern countries we call it mentality, but that's the wrong word actually in English. So temperament
Yeah, yeah,
and the outcome of, if you give the ball to your dog 3 times, don't get surprised if he day four start to scream 5 minutes before the training, because you have built up an expectation
yes,
and so on. So I try to connect the reward system with I have a lot of discussions with that, and I think people likes that because they can learn from what they put in the dogs. You have to also take care about it on the other side, and when they see Ivan or Knut Fuchs or whatever people doing something, maybe that's something for that dog, and the dog they have their own must maybe start in a total another way. So to balance all our the promoting the videos we do on social media, I think the temperaments talking education is important in that case. In
yeah,
that case, it's good with social media.
yeah, yeah, very true. How soon would you start working with a dog for IGP, or coaching somebody? Like let's say you have one of your people that you've coached previously with a dog. Now the dog is old. Now they got a new dog, new puppy. How soon you gonna start to help out?
You know this also, and the best answer, the best is when you as early as possible, because then you can we will do mistakes every day, even if you have lots of experience. So we will do mistakes, but it will be less mistakes you earlier you meet the dog and the handlers. For in the case with Natalie, for example, is maybe the best case. We breed the dog. We have the puppy from the beginning. She had the puppy from day one, and we built up the dog to a world champion. We avoided a lot of mistakes, of course. We did mistakes, but we can easily understand,
You catch
and we
them
can repair.
sooner. You catch them
Yeah, and we can
sooner.
repair them. You older they are, the more difficult. But I can tell you also that, I mean, people can do very stupid things with a dog, but as long as they are not mean to the dogs, as long as they don't do stupid corrections or talk too much negative trainings, we can fix mostly, Ivan. I mean,
Hmm.
if they are pushing in the heeling, if they are shooing in the out, shooing in the sleeve, shooing in the dumbbell when they're 1 year old, we can fix that. You know what I mean? But if they have
Yes,
been bad to the dogs, their dogs are not in harmony. That is
right.
difficult. So that from that point of view, I want to meet the handlers and the dogs very early. But
Good point.
you send one a good handler to me when her female was like 2.5 3 years old, and she became 14 in the FCA World
Yes,
Championship in the first of her lives, and but we met each other pretty soon. You remember?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Of course, of course. No, this is a, again, like coaching is one of my very. I'm passionate about a lot of things, and coaching is just very interesting, and it's always.
The pro- the problem I want to put in this situation is the seminars that I see around the world. I know that when you give seminars, you really go into the basic things so people don't miss step one and two and three. But many times I like the smoke from the cigar. I should like to smoke. I tried one time when I was 16 years old, but I threw up. I could not do it. I have to stop directly. But it looks cool.
It's a game.
Uh, Maybe I should have one just smoking here next time. Anyway, I see too many seminars. People who pay a lot of money go there. I call them Happy Sunday seminar.
Good one.
Happy Sunday seminar. I
Yes,
mean, everyone is
yes.
happy. But on Monday, Tuesday, no one have learned anything. And all dogs are just going for long attacks all the weekend or
You know
jumping or
what we
whatever.
call them? We call them, just sorry to interrupt, but it's a, I think in English is even more funny. We call them seminar hopping. Kind of like when you are in the in the beach and you're bar hopping, partying from bar to bar to bar, you know? Yeah, that's it.
And I can understand maybe 60-70% of the people likes that social things, only to go there and meet people and high five and let the dog get tired. But they pay a lot for that, you know what I mean? So pay attention to those type of seminars, because they don't, maybe that if you don't go on seminars that is really qualified, I mean secure that this trainer is a successful one, save the money and stay at home and train with your club. You know what I mean?
Yes, don't bring the
You
dog, spectate, and then if you have an access again, then
yeah.
yeah. And it's always even better if whomever is running the seminar, if they have some more consistent schedule that they come to the same place. Now, if you like the type of training, now that's worth it to go again, because no matter who you are, 3 days of training is not, you're just touching something on the surface. Maybe you can give some good advice. Maybe I will get confused. You know, there's got to be a little bit more of a follow-up, some kind of consistency, to where it's not just, okay, I was at this big name seminar just to, so you can check it in your box and say that you did that, you know?
I should rather save my money and pay. Call Ivan if I'm in USA. Call Ivan, save all my money, and say I want 1 hour or 3 hours with you, and put all the money on you on that 3 hours. That should give you more. I mean, private, huh?
Yes. Yes.
And don't put your money on 5-6 weekend seminars, hotel, driving, expenses, everything. Save the money and put them on 1 or 2 or 3 hours quality training with a super trainer. That will give you a lot more, in my opinion.
Yes.
I did that. I did that in the beginning. When I was like 19, 20 years focused on IGP, I did that. I tried to search the best ones in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, this was, I mean, it is the best way to do it, really. Like I didn't have much opportunity because, well, once I escaped from Bulgaria because it was communism at the time. And in Belgium, I went just straight into Belgian ring because I was already interested in the Malinois. And once I came to the States, it was just so difficult for me. And that was before social media. So we had this one magazine, Dog Sport. And that's kind of, it was a monthly edition, and that's where you hear scores or competition, but you hear about them after the fact. So it was very difficult for me to find where to go. Like the young generation now, it's so fortunate in so many ways, because of access and because of, how easy it is to communicate with anybody you want to, It's just so cool. What is your, as a judge, where do you stand? Like, what do you make of where IGP is now? What is the direction where we are going? Like, specifically thinking about the rules, sometimes we change it this way, but then we see that it's not quite the right thing. We retract it, we go back to what it was. But there is, of course, constantly some search to improve. My question is, what are we trying to improve? Like, where are we going with this?
This is a very clever question. It's not an easy answer, actually.
For sure.
We have a long way still to fix the situation. I think the new organization in FCI, we talk about the FCI and including also the different breeding clubs, organizations. the knowledge we have now actually is much better than for some years back, for sure. I mean, the presidents and the vice presidents and the people there in the group, they know. Then it's difficult for them to, of course, satisfy the whole world. And I am super negative for some things and super happy, and I write about it. For the sport, I mean, for when I started the sport during the middle of 80, in 1986, 88, the judge was God. The judge knows everything.
Yes.
No handlers took any discussion. But nowadays, Ivan, handlers and trainers are so good. They are much better knowledge than the judges how to evaluate the dog's behave, for example. I mean, when I discuss temperaments and behaves of dogs, I get impressed because the trainers around the world, doesn't matter what countries, they have good knowledge today. So they match and almost take over the judge competences, because the judges, many of the judges don't compete many years, don't train active during many years, but they're still standing and judge big trials. And that is up to the organizations to not stop it, because we need all kind of judges to complete this sport. We need normal amateur judges, but we also need professional, good level judges who are close to the sport.
Those will be the judges that kind of give the direction where we're heading to.
I mean, to standing there in the front of the world, to listen to someone that you know, have no idea what they're talking about, that is not respect. I mean, how many hours do you spend, Ivan, on your dog before you're coming? How much money have you spent on your dog? Training, gasoline, veterinary, insurance, food. I mean, everything. I mean, and then you travel to Europe and get judged by an amateur that get the job for as a gift because you have been long time in the sport, whatever.
True.
That is the biggest thing. I stopped competing after 2007 and come back later because I was so fed up. I was so tired of. I couldn't be quiet. I have reactions. So that is something they have to fix. The judges must be better on all levels. Local trials, do what you want, make people happy, do what you want with the points, give them the titles, as long as it's correct, of course. But when you come up to CAS hit level or qualification or nationals or the world championship, please. The system we have today is not acceptable. The one judge system in each part is it's almost a circus.
Yes.
To have one man, girl, woman responsible for 33% of the points of 120, 40, 150 dogs. That's ridiculous.
That's not human brain.
That's unbelievable. Not. You look at ice skating. You look at many horse sport. One judge is impossible on that level.
Yes.
So the organizations must improve. They have to, please. I mean, you as a handler, you will pay easily $10 more, $20 more to on your fee to go to the World Championship if they can at least have more than one judges.
Yes, very valid point. I think, you know, what is really interesting is that probably the vast majority of competitors agree on this. And in fact, I you know, like anytime I talk to IGP trainers and judges, and like I think, you know how we would say, well, 2 judges is a good thing. But then there is this kind of argument about, well, 2 judges, but one stay on that corner, one, and they don't share. And I'm like, no, they should share information, because that's the whole idea of, well, I have a little brain fart, but the other judge actually catches it. I think it's good to communicate because
No problem.
you build, okay, this is what we're judging, and now we have 4 eyes looking for the same thing.
True.
You know?
Correct. I agree 100%. I don't
Because
like
I
this
think,
split.
because you know what I think, like some competitors almost want to turn it into a game of, okay, well, there is this judge there and this judge there, and the one's going to give 89 points because maybe they missed something, and the other one's going to give 95 points, and ha ha ha, let's see them. That's not the point, right?
I have standing so many times, judging so many dogs. I can tell you, Ivan, and I this is true. When you're standing and judging obedience, sometimes you're standing there and you are not sure if this is a start of the free healing or if this is a start for the sit exercise, you know? You get blackouts sometimes. Even if you are super experienced, you get blackouts. So the idea you say here to work together and no, Pierre, you come to me, Pierre, you missed the whole escape. You have missed 10 points there. Okay, that discussion. And when the worst, when a Russian judge shall judge a Ukrainian handler, there is 2 judges on the field. So the Russian guy cannot kill the Ukrainian or opposite or what religion or enemies on the
Yes,
field or whatever.
yes.
There will be no questions because they know that 2 people are haven't agreed. This is 85. Finish.
Yes. So what, in your opinion, what is the holdback? Why we cannot implement this? Because it seems so reasonable, and I don't think there is much resistance against having 2 judges, but somehow
It's so easy.
it
The answer is
happens here and there, but it's not like accepted as a...
It's so easy. This is only prestige. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
Prestige.
yeah, yeah.
There is some old dinosaurs still who's protecting the unique thing to be the boss on the field. When they are gone, we would change this. There is no other answer. I can tell you, I was sitting in the UDC in the Commission for Rules in FCI. I was sitting there. I was sitting there 4 years, 5 years, and for the rules 2012. I can tell you from my heart, I want to change the steps after the sit and stand, IGP 2 and sit, IGP 1 to from 30. Well, 30 steps before. I tell them, who want to look at the dog handler goes 30 steps waiting, 30 steps back, 60 steps for nothing. Can we at least do it 15
Yes.
half?
Yes.
It took me 3 years to get some countries judges to accept that small changing. Then you understand how deep this culture of the rules is the rules are. You know what I mean?
Yes, interesting.
To change something is so hard. That's my experience.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
So I hope when some people are gone, this will be much easier because the young ones, the younger generations, are more positive to make the sport cleaner, and they're not so into the unique position of a judge. A judge is a human being like everyone else. He's not God. Thank you so much, Judge, for coming here and help us during your spare time. But we have trained a lot for showing our dogs under you. So please evaluate us correctly, please.
Right, right. Man. Pierre, what's your take? Like this is actually a question that I have almost, I mean, I'm kind of sure because there is always conversations along those lines, but now I have 2 dogs that I have to, they're almost, as I was telling you earlier, when we started, I have a female and a male that are super young. Well, not young enough. I have to do the BH and do the IGP1 now. And I'm at the point right now that I have to go back and really study the rules for IGP1 because I mean, everything from when I did IGP1, things have changed dramatically. of what the requirements were.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Why are we doing I guess my question is, if somebody is going towards level 3, but they have to train something for level 1 that only is very specific for level 1, and it doesn't really even give a progression towards where you really are training. So you basically have to teach something one time for one title, the most basic title, and then forget about it and move on. What is your opinion on this? I'm just really, not that I like it or I don't necessarily have opinion, or maybe I do. Like I think we should think of getting that progression somehow and not breaking it to where you're training for something that you never benefit from in the future, perhaps. I don't know. You get my point. I'm curious.
Okay, you talk about IGP there, and you mean in the tracking, it's some. You can see the steps there. It's true. Obedience is the biggest changer, and I don't have the answer. I mean, for example, these jumps. If we take that one, total different what the dog shall do in 1 and 3, and I think sometimes when you are sitting there in a group with rules, and I mean they have done an amazing job. I mean Robert Markschläger, who is the president now, he have opened a door to everyone. I mean it was a conference for not so many weeks back that he opened the doors for 500 people, not only judges.
Yes, I
so
watched
everyone
it.
could log in, and it's so transparent for the moment. So they are open for everyone's ideas, and that was an amazing seminar.
I agree.
So there is a changing going on, but to answer that question, I think when you're sitting there, you get so involved in that part of the changing, so you forget the reality. And the best example of that is those how do you call them, the boxes after the jumps.
Yes.
I was at the first championship. Directly, the first one was in Italy, and there you get the answer of how this work when the dumbbells jumping around like rabbits on the field, and the obedience program crashed the whole time schedule already after the first group, because no one have standing there and threw the dumbbells in the boxes. It was like, what are we expecting for the nervous handlers? Should they also now be the super nice gun shooter,
Yes,
how
very
could you
true.
so?
Very true.
And now they make the boxes wider and take the boxes away and stuff like this. So, but that mistake, they don't do that in purpose. I mean, they don't do it because they want to be bad or mean. I think they go so much into that change, so they forget sometimes reality.
Yeah.
And then the feedback from the organizations, democratic way down, not one was there, one was there. I mean, really much. The feedback is important. That is coming up. That please change to at least see the steps in the program. Don't tell the new handlers to teach something they maybe will do one time in the year. I mean, you put a lot of times to teach the dog in IGP 1. You do IGP 1 times, but you do IGP 3 maybe
for the rest
15,
of the dog's life. Yes. That's the
so that you put the attention. You say that you put the finger exactly on a weakness that we have on that level. Yes.
You know what is interesting to me is that somehow I don't think it's like officially said this way, but there is the desire to make the sport more accessible, more easier to anybody that wants to do. However, I think still, not deviating, not kind of derailing the sport, we can still create interest. And ultimately, it's a brutal sport. it's not for everybody. That's my opinion. I mean, there are people that like to do, and there are people that no matter how easy we're gonna make it, we cannot create more people on the just to participate on low level. And I may be wrong with this, because even as I'm saying it, I can understand how we need to do, we actually really need to do a lot of education and popularizing the sport. But is that really the right way to where we are washing it down so it's more accessible? And eventually, the people that really stick to it, they are the ones, as we were talking earlier again, that they're very committed, and they will sacrifice, and they will skip the movie, they will skip the family reunion thing because of training session. They will put everything on credit card if they need to. It's not a sport, in my opinion, that it's just for everybody, or at least not in from a certain point on.
First of all, I mean, people on our level normally say that the IGP1 is too easy. I say it's too difficult for normal people because I want them into the sport. I mean,
Yeah.
I want them to use IGP1 as a breeding start. The dog can track, the dog can jump, the dog can come when you call them, the dog can bite, the dog can, defend themselves. Easy things. IGP1. Let all the people into the sport. Let everyone, grandma, your daughter, your neighbor with any breed, whatever. It should be so easy. So, and because when they are into the sport, have been training on your club many, many months, they will stay.
Yes.
And they will stay in the club, and they will like continue to try next level. Maybe it's impossible for them, but maybe they get a new dog, they try to next level.
Yes.
Today it's too difficult. People have not the time to do everything they need to do to come to fix an IGP1. Of course, for the professional trainers, it's nothing. I mean, still it's so easy to make it, but for the normal people who are not so experienced
It's a
or
big
new
deal.
people,
Yes.
IGP1 is super. It's not easy. I mean,
True.
so that is one thing they have to change, because when we have people in the sport, they will buy the coffee, they will buy the hot dog, they will give membership money, they maybe want to sponsor, they want to be the group, they want to be the track layers, they want to be the audience on the in the tribune later on. We need people, but today we give this red stop sign already in the beginning. IGP is so difficult. Don't start with this. Start with agility. It's better for you.
I
Wrong way.
get it.
Wrong way.
I get it. I mean, you definitely have a point. And then again, I go back and forth with this all the time. And the one that you brought in with the, even from breeding purposes, there's so many incredible dogs out there that we will never hear of unless they show up. Just,
Yeah.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
they don't even pass the title, but you see the dog and you're like, oh,
hmm
who is this, right?
Yes.
That's a very good point. Very, very, very good point of that, as far as that goes.
We will see. I hope they can change it.
How do you feel about the protection today? I know, I mean, I kind of follow, of course, we all kind of pay attention to each other on social media and stuff, but what do you think? How did it even change after we took the stick hits off?
The stick hit, people don't understand that the stick hits, in my opinion, many people don't understand. I can say it like that. Sorry. They think the stick hits is the thing to evaluate to separate good dogs. You have seen super weak dogs, Ivan, get better after the stick hit because they get in another mood.
Mm.
So this is the I am not against stick hit. Of course, I like to test the dogs. I like to test the temperament, but as I'm working with temperaments test every day. This is my passion. This is
Yes.
my work since 30 years. There is lots of different ways to test the character of a dog without hit them with something. And if our support shall survive, you have to think about to explain for someone who never see, to explain for your grandmother, why do you hit the dog with a stick? Why do you hit the dog? And maybe some people say it's not necessary to explain for your grandmother. No, but if the grandmother is a political
Mm-hmm.
worker in some countries,
Mm-hmm.
and they use that, so we need to go step forward everything and take away things that can stop our sport. People are stopping the sport today, try to stop it in some countries because dogs biting, you know what I mean?
Correct, correct.
So I try to explain and educate people that our dogs, our sport dogs, have no interest in to bite people. They have interest in to bite in the prey that presents. Okay, Pierre, but why do you train aggressions? Yes, you don't need that aggressions or defense work. You can come and get a lot of points without it. But some dogs, if you want to compete with them during many years, you have to work with all the characters, different characters, braveness, fighting drives, prey drives, aggression drives, willing to please drives, and so on. You have to use your whole register in some dogs. That's the reasons we open them. But you can send in the world champion, you can send in to a group of people. He will search the helper with a suit on or with a sleeve on. So
Right.
protection dogs is sport dogs have nothing to do with dangerous dogs. They are opposite, you know what I mean? The police who train the dogs to bite civilian people, they have to train dogs really much to bite in a bone, in a skin, because it's against normal dog's nature, good dog's nature. There are super stupid breeds that bite people, of course, but not the breeds we are competing with. These breeds are, this is, you have to take the blockation away because it's against dogs behave to use the molars to crash bones because you have to teach them to do it first. So back to the stick. The stick, we need to take it away in Europe because they were close to kill the sport because of that thing. In USA, it's opposite. It's so big country. You have also other tools that is allowed in your country that
Yes.
is totally forbidden
Yes.
in Europe since many years back.
Yes.
Uh, I don't want to say that someone in your countries will. I mean, there's 51 states, in USA,
Yeah.
that they will could take away the sticks or forbidding something here and there because you have another culture there. And I accept the discussion with people from, for example, USA, because this is in another world
Yes.
than we have in Europe today.
Yes.
And
Very true.
so this is different levels. But my conclusion is, if I can try to put these things together now, that we can test the dogs, and there are super good helpers who still selected the dogs because of the behave of how they work the dogs on the field. If they work them on the sleeve, on a suit or whatever, you know that, Ivan. There is helpers who don't even use to touch the dog. The dog gets sensitive and nervous anyway.
Yes.
And there are helpers who have no feelings. They can hit the dog with a stick 100 times, and they're meaning nothing for that kind of
Yes.
dogs.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there is like I see both points, and you're correct with having, a good helper can just use their presence and that mental pressure and really fuck with the dog's head and put the stress that we need to see if the dog can handle it. But I also, very often I would talk to helpers on the sideline after they just worked a dog on the trial, and I would hear it, man, if I was just to touch him, I know it would go away, but I cannot do it. But to go back to the problems in Europe, because I really believe these are problems. Do you think that keep complying to the pressure of whatever the groups are, that public perception and the activists and so on, do you think that we will ever make them happy to where they would say, okay, now you guys can keep going? Because over the years, from what I've seen, those people are never happy. They just go to the next button to push and the next button to push. And I feel that at some point we have to, kind of draw that line in the sand and start to defend a little bit and educate why we do these things, at least in the future, because I don't see those people, I don't see how we can ever make them happy to where they can say, okay, this IGP stuff is cool, we're not gonna bother them. What do you think?
That is completely true, and I also agree with all those people who say that we have to protect it. Also, we cannot get weaker and fulfill their wishes or their complaints, because next time they take the sleeve away. Next time we should not have a sleeve, and that comment is completely. I understand and I agree with it also. The thing I want to tell you in this situation is that it's very difficult to them to jump on us if there is nothing to jump on. But if you think about this, when you're sitting in the court, if we make a court case of this,
Yes,
everyone
yes,
is
yes.
complaining, and it's coming new politicals, and they want to do something, and people complain, and we come to a situation, we come to the court. They're sitting in jury, and they have nothing to say. We don't hit the dogs with anything. The dog's tail is going up. Everything is positive. They're jumping into the sleeve. They carry the sleeve. They're jumping and get dumbbells back. They're super happy. Look at this. Okay, the judge say, but this stick that you hit over the shoulder, I hear the noise. I hear the sound when it smash on the body of the dog. I see how the stick is over
Yes,
over the
yes.
back. How can you defend that?
Yeah.
You cannot defend that. For the jury, for the judge who have nothing to do with this, but is there anything other in the sport that they can do the similar connection to? No. What can I say? What can I say today? What can I say today?
Man, I can be probably the best defender for the sport. I will tell you what I would like. Why I personally, because I do go to courts, I do deal with sometimes, not too often anymore, but I used to.
Yeah.
You would go to court and try to present or defend a case, and of course the attorneys, the sharks, are just trying to destroy your credibility and everything, right? And however, like I believe that if we even educate ourselves first and then educate everybody else and have the answers, because I do think that we do have the answer. And a variation of the answer is that there is something about adversity in any animal, no matter how afraid and how human, dog, rabbit, we all try to push our limits and try to overcome some form of adversity. That's where all the sports for humans are. That's why, you kind of, the moment you are able to overcome some adversity, you grow from it. Now, it can go the other way, of course. However, I think that, like if you take martial arts, or if you take most sports that have some kind of, you do get punished for your mistake. And the dogs that like to do protection sports are a special type of animal, just like the guy that does martial arts. They can do martial arts, they can do Tai Chi, or they can really enjoy the full contact fight within some rules, right? And the dogs that are doing protection sports, we have, they're, you know, like you can try to convince some kid to go and fight in a ring, and they're like, that's not me. I will roller skate, I will paint, I will. But then there is the other kid that is like, I like it, and I don't see it really as fighting for like in a mean way, but I see it as a chess game and as a growth and as a, you know, all the good sides of what that kind of combat brings to yourself. And the dogs are not that different, especially because we know that if a dog doesn't like to do protection sport, there is nothing we can do. Sure, they are dumb as people that will force the dog and put it in a corner on a table and make it bite out of no choice. And it's just disgusting to even talk about. But this kind of dog, when they have the opportunity to say, okay, well, there is the bad guy or the helper 100 meters away, go and get him. He's like, I don't, right? And so the conversation can go within these lines, which, you know, we, to some level, everything on planet Earth that's alive searches for some form of adversity. Because overcoming adversity, even take mount climbing, you're climbing some rocks, you know, and you know that you're gonna fall down. And this is actually part of why you're climbing.
Yeah, 100% agree, and that's it's true. Then the other side will say, do all these dogs have a choice? If the dog could choose to just running after a rabbit, have a happy life, laying home in the sofa, not follow you to the training place, what should they choose? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wish that what you are saying is that how it should work normally, and the same is if we compare it to the horse sport. I mean, the racing when they are catching, try to get the horses faster or jumping higher or whatever. It's a little bit connected to each other. People today don't understand really this physical way to touch dogs or animals in general. For people who have no idea about animals, also for people who have ID, having a blockation in their head to accept that it is allowed to, in this case, the stick hit in the program, or to give the horse whatever they do with the horse when they touch them with these sticks they have in the race. I should be impressed. The one who solved this problem will have a Nobel Prize, Ivan.
yeah,
I like that way the organizations protect our animals. We need them. We must have an opposite side to all this violence going on around the
yes,
world on all kind of animals. I know that you agree with this, and I mean, people say that you and I and the super nice trainers in all over the world, we are hard. We are hard to our dogs. We are abusive to our dogs when we have the leadership over them. I mean, I put a lot of attention now to teach people that the leadership is not violent.
right,
Leadership is not a question of corrections or number of how many times you have to correct your dog. It's a normal way of life of a pack member when you are a dog. But we start already there. That if you have a leadership over your dog, you are hard and a
yes.
violent person.
Yeah, we've been called any name on you
Any
can think
name,
of.
any name.
Yes,
So to go from there to hit the dog in the program, it's a big world for some people. You know, it's a It's not easy to. So I'm so nervous to lose the dog sports, because we forgot a little bit about what the dog sport is for in the beginning. We started dog sports, rescue dogs, protection dogs, sending dogs between certain people with messages on, I don't know the English name, because of service later on.
Yes.
They should go, these bloodlines shall produce dogs for service work. So we can protect our troops in Afghanistan. So the police can help us to find criminals, and so on and so on.
Yes.
The sport is connected to that.
Yes.
So the brother of your world champion, he is also the brother of your world champion is had the mentality to be a police dog. The litter of 6, 8, 4, 5 goes to the sport. 2, 3 goes to the service work. And then some people say, no, it's not true. There is sport dogs and service dogs, and it's very hard. No, I know exactly, because this is my work. And a good litter, you need a good dog to be world champion or to compete on a high level. You cannot have a bad dog. It's not possible. He needs to handle the training. This dog's sister or brother will work as a service dog somewhere in the world, for sure, yes. So we should connect our sport more to that, to people understand that this is not only a play, this is for saving. I mean, if we take away the protection sports, ring sport, IGP, Nordic protection work, whatever you call it, from the breed Malinois, German Shepherd, Rottweilers, Dobermans, Hollands, Herders, you name it. If we take that selection instrument away, we will have boxers, collies, elder terrier. Because elder terrier, collies, and boxers was during the 1960s, 50s, 60s super service dogs. You see them all over the place as military dogs, as police dogs. Nowadays, if you see a collie,
you know why I'm smiling? Why I'm smiling is because I started with a collie, and it was from, again, that was way back in time in Bulgaria, and they were very hardcore. They were like some Russian line that they stand their ground. That they do everything. And I actually had a female lassie that was doing everything.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say this because
But it's amazing. But you don't find that today. They have they have not destroyed the dogs. They have destroyed the working abilities, the genetics for working during the years. Take away, and some people in Europe say we should take away the protection work. It's not necessary on German Shepherds. Let them breed, for God's sake. Yeah, we will have a collie in 20 years.
Yes.
We will have a weak dog who not can do anything to the breed standard anymore. So we have to pay attention, and we need to protect the sport. And I tell you, everything you have said to protect the stick hits or not, I agree. But I'm only afraid of that we give a gift to those who are against this.
Yeah, give a reason to keep pushing. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. This is a $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
My honest opinion is these people will never stop. They will eventually, if let's say they have it exactly how they want to have it, and they totally shut down all protection sports in Europe, they're gonna go after, I don't know, fly ball eventually.
Agility, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you have right.
Like my opinion and suggestion to anybody that can have some form of influence up there is that at some point we need to stand a little bit more firm and defend instead of always backing up, because we're almost clearly showing them that they have control over us at all times. And in Europe particularly, it became so difficult. And this is an interesting question, especially well, it's not just the Scandinavian countries, but in Scandinavian countries it's very, very pronounced, just as is Austria, Switzerland. How did it happen that at the time, like in the early 2000s, when those animal rights activists and, they started to push into what is okay and what is not okay, and what is ethical and moral and what is inhumane and so on, why the dog sport people just kind of stand back and hope that somebody else will, like what happened in Europe? Like, really, what happened?
I think people, they give up. They don't care. They don't want to put their time in those discussions. It's so difficult to have the best people involved in the national organizations, in the different commissions or boards. They only want to train the dogs, have fun.
Yeah.
The best people, many times, the best people are not the ones who are representing the countries in those decisions. They are the people who have time, who not train dogs so much. There is some, of course. I should not say everyone is the same, but we are too lazy. All of us who are not getting involved.
We're hoping that somebody else will take care.
We are hoping that somebody else, and we don't care, and we just hoping. That's true. The best ones should come together. And I think the initiative they do in this from Germany. I lost the name, just for God's sake. The group that built Matthias, and also Peter and Jacques and yeah. What they do to try to at least build up a community with knowledge and educate people, that's very nice. That's the way to do it. And I Patricia, sorry, what they are doing is super clever. That's everyone.
Oh, you mean the canine sports and I know. Yes,
they try
yes,
to
of course.
They try to
100%.
I'm stupid, tired of my head, not getting the name directly. Thank you, Ivan. What they're doing is it's fantastic work, because there is a lot of knowledge. These people are like world champions. They are competing all that. They have good feeling for dogs. What the work they do together with together, and we are a little bit involved in it. We could do more. I could do much more. I hope I can do much more when I get retired, to helping if I can. I get critic because I put more attention to my social media and try to change that way. I agree that I should do it more directly, but I also know that my messages on social media change things. People are on different levels are listening and hearing, so we can do it on different. But I could be better to join that type of initiative, for sure.
Yeah.
All of us should be better to do it, because if we go with one hand and say this is like, we talk about thousands of people with good knowledge, if we decide that this is the way we will go, we will have power, for sure.
What is interesting right now for me, from being in the States, where we can use training tools, we can train dogs, and still be extremely concerned actually about ethical dog training and not accept anything abusive. I think, I mean, I understand that it's super difficult for Europe, because already the ground's been set to what is appropriate and what is not. However, it's based on just a false narrative, on a fairy tale. It's really a fairy tale. There is no, like, whenever they say that they have science-based training and evidence training, and so those cliche words, the evidence is never really there. But when like the sports community, especially protection sports, we're trying to educate. Don't you think that Europeans are, just as a whole, going a little bit overboard to try to present the dog always in this very, beautiful picture, to where they're just the man's best friend, and they're all the same, and they all can fit into the same style of training, and they have the same personalities. Like they're dogs that, they, like how we would say in English, the one glove doesn't fit everybody, and it doesn't take away ethical and moral and humane training. It doesn't take, again, it's very interesting, and we are starting to paint a picture of a dog that's, of course, there is this kind of dog, but then there is other dogs, and they all can be brilliant dogs, but they need a little different approach. They just need it. And in my opinion, it's again kind of bending to the pressure and starting to go overboard of presenting that dogs are not dogs, basically. Because any dog can get a little bit aggressive, but what is aggression? Is it really a bad thing? Humans have dogs since they learn how to start a fire. Mm-hmm. For what? For some sort of protection. Mm-hmm. Protection always has been playing a very important role into the evolution between the relationship of dog and human. And so it's so deeply genetically programmed, but we start to think of it as something really bad if a dog shows it.
You mean specific aggressions, you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying a dangerous dog, but, like let's say somebody comes at home at 11 in the evening, unexpectedly. That will be a bad idea.
Yeah.
And somebody will say, well, these dogs, they should not, these are not good dogs because they should be friendly to everybody. That's the problem that I see. Dogs are not supposed to be always, they're the dogs that are friendly to everybody, but not every dog wants to be friendly to anybody. And that's not a wrong thing. We just need to understand to control it. Just like a dog, when I talk about, have this discussion with force-free trainers, and they would say, well, my dog doesn't chase a squirrel. And I'm like, yeah, one of my dogs, you can put him with 5 squirrels, 3 rabbits, and chicken, and he will do nothing. But then there was the other dog of mine that if he sees a squirrel, he skips a heartbeat, and he wants that squirrel. I mean, it's like and that's nature. We cannot pretend that it's not there. And if I don't know, man, I'm just talking.
Yeah, no, I understand. You started a little bit about the different training equipments and stuff like this, and difference between USA and Europe. And then you continue a little bit about these cultural relations to dogs in different parts of the world. I mean, still in the east part of Europe, this is totally acceptable to have guard dogs, to have dogs that really can guard your property. You more Western, you come. This you more you they we talk about more like pet dogs. You know,
Yes.
if any dog have any attitude, people have major problems today to handle that. We call it like extrovert behaves or dominant behaves or whatever. We have in the Western Europe we have totally lost the knowledge of how to use that kind of dogs or that train this kind of dogs. I
Yes.
mean, we that's a general problem today because we talked about it this week when I was at work that people have forgot to open a dog's aggression or close a dog's aggression or handle a dog during stress or whatever, and they solve everything with a ball or a candy, or they get surprised when the dog show up extrovert behaves. In Sweden we have this muscle, the muscle cage, the muscle work,
Hmm. Yeah, muzzle.
that
Yeah,
you hit,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you open the dogs in aggression to use the muscle too early, you need to have control over the dog. You know what I mean? And if you cannot have control over your dog, don't open the dog, for God's sake. Don't open them in that behaves.
Yes.
So another $1 million question about the equipments. This is a non-question nowadays in our part of the world. I mean, still a military officer in the armed forces and working with animals, with dogs. I mean, we get 2 years in prison if they catch us with wrong tools. Up to, I can tell you. I have not believed anyone yet, but then we can go to the neighbor country, Norway, where they need to use, for example, electric collars on dogs who is hunting dogs who is working in the mountains, because they're not allowed to bite the sheeps. So they have to have a certificate that they don't bite on sheeps, for
Yes.
example.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is like 1-2 hours driving from our country. I don't protecting those equipments. I can tell you that it's forbidden from in most of Europe.
Yes.
99, when Sweden started the first time with the team in the World Championship, people were so surprised over the young people's knowledge about dog training. We don't have the culture in northern countries of different tools training. We have the ball, the leash, the voice, what? No. 2000 in Belgium, Swedish team was world champion in team. And people don't understand how is it possible to come after 2 years experience, you were already world champion in team. I think that one of the answers is that many of the people that during that days were used to train the dogs with, I mean, do something positive where I reward it. When I came to USA the first time, Ivan, I get a shock because there was people who don't know how to learn a dog to sit without electric collars. They have collars on the back, on the throat, on the everywhere, and they don't know how to teach the dog with a treat. I don't. I This is not shit talk. It's
Absolutely.
true.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can turn it both ways. Uh, and I know the good trainers in your country, when they're using different tools, are experts. Should never overuse it or do stupid things. You know what I mean? You do what you need to do, and that is full respect. But the other idiots who misused those tools,
Right.
I mean, I have just passed a very hard time of my life when people blame me for using um, um, stackel on the
Yeah, I
dog.
heard about this. Yes.
Yeah. On my own videos, on my own Instagram, they take photos and blame me for using. It was not a stackel. Everyone knows that already. Because I should not be so stupid, so I put it on my own internet, social media, for God's sake. So, but they do a big drama out of this, and they were writing big was like, here is the military officer uh, giving the dog a lot of pain, and they show a video, and the dogs were super happy on the video. Not even there was no hitting, no punishment. Tail was going, the young female was happy. There was no forbidden tools, but they want to kill me.
Yes.
So
Which is kind
I,
of where I was going with when I was saying they will never stop, you know?
These people is based on this is jealousy. They are angry. Not I cannot take this personally. Of course, some of them hates me and they don't like the success we have and that we are so much better than many of the others and blah blah blah. This is the frustration of the situation of a lot of things. We don't have time in this pod to
Yeah.
explain that. But I don't I cannot meet hate with hate. It's not possible. I have to meet these guys with love still, even if they do very bad things against me, against my family, against my kids who are here in the school that the father is
Right,
is
right,
killing. Blah blah blah.
right.
They don't
Oof.
understand, but I cannot hate them. I don't hate them. I understand their frustration, and now they try to put me to bury me forever, but they didn't succeed. So, but this is
Yeah,
the situation in
you
Europe.
know what is the crazy thing is that somehow they've convinced themselves and they truly, truly, truly believe that they're protecting, and it comes from a good place in the heart, you know. They really think that they're doing a very important and the right thing in defending dogs and training. And that makes it difficult to have conversations because of how much they have been convinced that they are on the right path. And as you said, United States or anywhere else where electric collars or whatever tools are allowed, you will see stupid training. And not just stupid training, just like you wish to either walk away or walk in and take the dog out of these people, because it's just heartbreaking to see it, you know.
Yeah.
These people, you take the electric collar away, what happens? They're not going to become clicker trainers. they're
Oh
gonna
no.
they're gonna do the same stupid shit that they do in a some
Yeah, yeah. But we know
creative
that too.
way.
And we know that too, that the people who are jumping on others, they are maybe the ones who are using those equipments by themselves most of all. You know what I mean? So I know that many of those people who are involved against the situation here against me, I mean, I know that they are scumbags, all of them. I
Yeah,
know that many of them are not correct to the dogs. I know
yeah,
that many of them use different tools. So you have right. They only want to make a mess. They only want to make a mess and maybe have some attention, and get satisfied with that.
yeah,
But how could you defend? How can you beat? Excuse me. How can you beat idiots, Ivan? It's not possible. They will win. An idiot will always win over an intelligent person because they're used to wrestling in the dirt. You know what I mean? They are
yeah,
pigs.
yeah,
So you can never win over these guys. It's not possible to take the discussion with these people or try to change them. They have no they are not interested in to solve a situation. They are only interested to make drama and conflicts. So I don't focus on them. I cannot focus on that.
yeah.
For me, it's impossible to focus on that, Ivan. I
No,
have
no,
to
I
focus on the
understand, man. I again, like the for Europe, the that saying, the train has already left the station. It's almost it's extremely hard for you to go all the way back. But I see that you guys are trying to bring some reason into the discussion carefully, and I appreciate that. In the States, what is interesting overall in how let's say, like just like with guns, we can have guns. I mean, I have guns. I don't know, I have things. It's like it's
It's
within
USA.
my rights, right? It's America, good or bad, but that's who we are. And we fight, we fight very hard, and we use science, and we use competitions, and we use everything possible to demonstrate excellent training and promote excellent training, regardless how you're getting there. Because if you have excellent training, that means you have incredible relationship with the dog. That dog wants to. You see the dog not afraid and scared, and and we get pressured from Europe, from different high level in the organization, in the working protection dog sports, to where it's like, well, you cannot have pictures with training like this, or you cannot use the stick kits, or basically it is frustrating for us here that we are fighting very hard to against any abuse, but also not for somebody that has no idea how to train dogs to tell us what dog training is about. And the interesting part where I want to get to this is that we, on top of everything else, that we're fighting with everybody, and we're very successful, because in the States, the pressure started exactly at the same time as it was in Europe. But we have been very successful to contain it and to never allow it to happen. What is interesting is that we're starting to get pressure now from the organizations that do protection sports, even though they understand and don't want to talk about it, but they understand that this is not a bad thing. But because that's the pressure they have to comply in Europe, are trying to force it on us here. And that kind of puts us down. Like we would, in some ways, expect that at least we get some kind of, it doesn't need to be a support, but it doesn't need to inflict this kind of control when we know that it's not necessary. We don't need to throw the baby out with the water.
I understand.
Difficult conversation.
No, yeah. But you know something? For dogs, you say it, everyone have an opinion, Everyone is specialists. I used to do a compare it with, many people have flowers at home. But not so many say that they are like educated florists,
Yeah.
But as soon as you have a dog or two and compete a little bit, you have an opinion and you know everything. Today we have veterinarians who give explanations of dogs' behave. They are not specialists in dogs' behave.
Yes.
They're good in veterinary medicine. We have ethologues,
Yeah,
They are
ethology.
super good. They are super good to explain the science around it, but they are not the best ones to explain the behaviors of a dog or how a dog reacts in different situations. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We can continue. Everyone think they have the rights to explain what is good or bad for a dog. How many you have in your country who's not even close to your knowledge, Ivan, who give seminars, who are in television, who are in newspapers, different pods discussing dogs, and I don't know the right word, blackmail normal people to trust their methods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And many people are so primitive into evaluate the value of which one shall you listen to. When people should buy a house, they're super serious to investigate all the weaknesses in the house. When they buy a new car, they read everything about this car, its models, everything. A new cream for your skin, people read the ingredients. Is that good? When they buy a dog, or when they buy a training concept, or listen to someone, they buy everything. They have no selection. I don't, and there is people in Sweden, in Europe, who really say, if your dog hunting rabbits, threw candy over the dog and put the attention to you, and the dog will stop running after the rabbit. This is no joke.
No, I know.
No
I
joke.
know very well. Yeah, I know very well, and you know why? Because we actually did a study. I don't know if you even know, if you've heard, like I mean, these are the kind of things that Europeans should use what we do here sometimes. Like, for example, we did a very cool study using electric color for exactly the same situation that you are talking about. Predation, you know, the motor pattern of predation instincts. And when that system gets activated, I mean, I'm not teaching you, everybody needs to hear this more. But when that system gets activated, this is internally very strong, very self-rewarding system that any external reinforcer or reward, they're like, I don't need this. I have a purpose right now. I'm chasing. So we did a study, and the force-free, the all positive training, we compared it. They failed 100%. They failed 100%, all dogs. Mm-hmm. And we had 100% success. But the interesting part, sometimes the force-free trainers will say, well, you used the wrong approach with the force-free, and that's why it didn't work. Okay, let's I know that I'm ready to do that experiment again, but let's say even that's true. What was more important in that study is that we showed that with very brief discomfort, those dogs, all dogs in that group, they stopped chasing. But the more important part was that there were the side effects that the force-free people want you to believe that happen all the time. You know, fear, intimidation, pain, and all these things. And the dogs are afraid of the owner. They're afraid to come to the field. None of that was present. And so there is a lot of new studies and a lot of new conversations that we have here in the States.
Yeah. I understand it, and what you explain is the experience you have, and we know this from before, when it was forbidden in my country and in many other countries too. So in our country, in my country, this is a no. This is, I mean, we cannot use it, and it's not necessary.
Yes.
And we apologize to interrupt you, because
no,
because it's that question is so hot.
Yes.
It's so hot. So people want to misunderstanding.
Yes.
People want blame you or me or everyone else to be abusive. Even if we never use anything, we are still abusive people, you know, to these animals. So if we promoting, or you promoting, either other way, or I say it's not allowed, we don't do it, we cannot do it, I'm against it, and so on, people will still connect it anyway how they want. In Sweden, we can use different lines, and but the difference between from going throwing candy over the dog, or give them corrections by equipment, there is something between that you can use without being extreme on any way, Ivan. I mean, not everyone breed is a Malinois or German Shepherd. You have small papillons, you have terriers, small.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
who can easily get braked by different things. But the thing is that there is an opposite side, and people close the discussions, and the discussions that you and I have now. This is not going on. People are so afraid about to talk about things,
Correct.
so they hide it, and you know it, Ivan. People have to go behind the corners in different parts of the Europe to complete their missions. Service dog people and so on. And I think it's so bad because behind the corners, when people not see, there is the place animal abusing going
Yes.
on.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Because even if you want to do it the right way, you don't know what the right way is because it's all taboo.
And
And
now
you
they push with all those forbidden things. They do not only equipments, everything they talk about. They push the working dog peoples out in the woods, and there
yes,
we have no control over them.
yes,
There we have no insight. We can't see what people are doing when they are not open on the clubs, for example. I think that's a very bad development of the thing is going on now. If
yes,
it's not
and
stopping,
yeah, very. I cannot agree more with you, and not that I have any answer to this because again, it's a super complicated situation you guys are in.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
going even with the pet dogs in the States, like you will have, like this happens daily. I mean, as much as I do protection dogs and sport dogs, I also am very interested in, and I have a pet training business, and we deal with dogs that have problems, and the most interesting cases are the ones where the force-free people have tried and done and whatever, and finally they're like, well, we've tried everything. The best thing to do is to euthanize the dog. And I'm like, did you ever try to even at least tell him, no, that's not a good thing to do? Even a simple, no, I disapprove of you doing this. Even this is problematic, And however, I think this is how we still are able to keep our position in this, is because the trainers that do pet training would take dogs that they're basically on death row. They went through all force-free positive trainers. They were on SSRIs, mental psychotropic medications. They did everything besides saying, hey, stop, just really, that's a bad idea. And to most of these dogs, that's all it takes, just to say, this is okay and this is not okay. And we always present real cases. Like, let's say I just got well, it was a month ago, but I got this postcard, And,
yeah.
and this was a dog that basically was going to be put to sleep, euthanized, 5 years old.
Why?
Because he was trying to bite the owner and trying to just basically a dog that's out of control, that nobody says, hey, this is not cool to do. Just
We have
that.
many.
Yeah,
We
this
have
is not
many of
cool to
those.
do.
Crazy.
And the approach of the all positive is, we're going to try to deflect it, and we're going to reinforce good behavior, and we're going to avoid the bad behavior. However, you never really say, hey, don't do that.
Mm.
And it saves the dog's life. And these people end up sending me postcards being so grateful because
Fantastic.
they have the life that they dreamed with their dog.
Fantastic.
I know, there is no
No,
answer to
but this
this.
is super nice. This is a great story. You should publish that storyline, that dog. Tell the people what could happen with this dog. I mean, come on.
We have it. That's kind
You,
of, we do this all the time, and I will send you some of those
yeah,
things.
super cool, super cool. Hey, Ivan, I have to ask you, how many people do you think will listen to us 2 hours talking?
A lot of people.
Okay,
A
good,
lot of
good.
people. I think these conversations are very, very interesting to people, and
Great.
I
I hope.
promise you that it's not going to be only IGP people either. You know, which is very cool. To switch the conversation, because I know we kind of don't want to drain it to this, because there is no answer to that, right?
Wow.
Let's talk a little bit about your work, especially the selection, evaluation of working military dogs. And this personally is of great interest to me, because I've been breeding dogs since 1989. I don't even want to say the years, because it's like as you said, we're dinosaurs. Genetics and breeding selection is one of my obsessions, and so is yours. And I'm very, very interested to see and to hear you kind of breaking down the program, because of course, I watch all the cool moments of the tests, but I know that there is more to it. And how does typically a dog comes into the program, how it gets selected, what you guys look for as a raw material? Like this is super interesting stuff.
Yeah, and we could have a special program only about that, and I'm happy that I have the opportunity to explain, because people are very curious about actually what is happening in Sweden. It's pretty unique. It's only actually two places in the world where they have similar, not that numbers, and that's in New Zealand and in Canada. They have a small program in Canada of German Shepherds too. Not registered dogs, FCI. Swedish Armed Forces started up this breeding 2004. The reason was that we didn't get the numbers of dogs to for service work, to educate the soldiers and to fulfill the work
Yeah,
we should do.
yeah,
So the politicians decided we should be like self to get our dogs by ourselves. And that was a super hard work in the beginning, because we get females from the civilian market, from the sports lines, dogs lines mainly. And the number we had at the beginning was this is official. This is no secrets at all. It was 80 females. So that is the numbers we are around still. And we have to produce a couple of hundred dogs a year because of the work. Not only because to have dogs for the work for the soldiers, or training up the dogs for service work, we need to have a certain number to continue the genetics, to work to make the genetics better.
yeah,
There is a lot of things that you need to change in our breeds that a small breeder never can reach during a lifetime. I mean, you started 89. Even if you should have 10 liters a year, Ivan, you should never reach your success before you die, because I mean, okay, you produce
it's
good
a
dogs still,
never-ending story. Absolutely.
but if you want to change something, you have to have a high number, uh, and to produce high numbers of dogs, then you can have the chance. And we have the best genetics working in the military. They are specialists in this. I mean, we have the breeding responsible they are the best people you can find to counting genetics and DNA and all this kind of stuff. And then you have the other guys like nerds like me who knows the lines and behaves and do the tests. So we are a super nice team together who can I mean, we have never reached that success so fast without all this knowledge, and of course the support we got from the Swedish people who pay taxes so we can breed those dogs. I mean, this is the end of the day. I mean,
Yeah,
and we are responsible to be open, and we must give information what we are doing. Um, and the system is not the science actually. I mean, puppies are born in the middle of Sweden, a little bit north. The female comes there a couple of weeks before she get birth. When the dogs are 8 weeks, they go to normal families. They go out to normal families, voluntary families. People say, "Are you crazy? Are there voluntary families who want puppies?" Yes, we have a lot of fantastic families who have those small gangsters until they are like 15, 16 months old when they come into tests. And every family have a help desk. I can call them help desk. They are connected instructor trainers on the different regions of Sweden who are their help desk almost 24/7 to help them. They make a fantastic work. So that when they come to the test, the dogs are not trained, but they are socialized and stimulated. You know what I mean? They have no experience from competitions or stimulated in protection work. They are pure green
Open book, yes.
open books, and that's in purpose because if you want to come to close to genotype as possible, you need to see the numbers. The litters is interesting. The individuals, one dog is not so interesting. We tested a litter a day. We tested all 6 to 8 in one day. We try to do that. It can be 2 days or over 2 weeks, but we try to get the whole litters together because then you have the answer of the genetics. And with that answer, the breeding wards, the responsibles, take out new breeding dogs, females and males, to continue the program. The test is made by me and an ethologist from before. He has quit now. He was retired. There is new one, but we have a test. The first test we did 2005, 4-5, was a test during 2.5 hours. I want to have more. I want to do more of that. I want to know. Pierre, come on. You cannot make a test 2.5 hours in summertime. Those family dogs will die after 30 minutes. We have to make it smaller so we can test 10 dogs a day, 6, 8, 10 dogs a day. So, and all the dogs, now we have passed over 4,500 dogs have been tested in this system. The same system. 5 different parts of Sweden, inside mainly, but the same part, same moment, no differences. We are super consequent. This is same tests. And families are not interesting to try the test before because they are not selling the dogs to us. You know what I mean? I get often critique that dogs can get trained on these different parts. Okay, one, I see if dogs are trained, of course. 2, those families are not dog dealers. They don't want to mix and tricks to get the dog. I mean, there are like
Yeah,
families.
you're right.
No,
They're not selling dogs to.
no. So they are not trained. So they coming to the test like green books, and we make all those different test situations, and then we have an evaluation score, and then we it's like 40 minutes of the dog's life. So it's nothing. I mean, I'm not Messias. I cannot say everything. I can give it's a signal for us if this dog is okay to go to next step. And what is next step? It's to go to our fantastic trainers. We have on different parts of Sweden, of course, education centers. We have one big center in Stockholm. They mainly train most of the dogs, but also the other parts of Sweden is training going on. And the dogs goes there when they are 60 months, and then they have like 2, 3, 5, 4 months to develop.
Yes.
If they're good, if they can continue, teach them everything. If they are not good,
and the
then we go back.
evaluation is still on, of course.
It's still on. So
Yes.
those 40 minutes is like only small part of the life, and it's actually not saying so much if you want to be a good tracking dog or search dog or whatever. It says more like you have a capacity, you have the right working abilities to continue.
The potential.
And potential, and you are not dangerous, you're not shy for gunshots and stuff like this. And of course there's overall, you see the overall flying up and the scramble test.
That's
and the
what
sleeve.
everybody loves, that one.
Yeah, I know.
It's
So
it always goes viral on social media.
every time it's so popular and people likes it, and they make comments about it, and I see it also coming up now in different parts of the world. People try to use it. So, but it's what you say. There is so much small things in between that we could go into right now, Ivan. But then we will sit here until tomorrow, maybe,
Yes. Yes.
because this is a special evaluation we do. We not only evaluate if the dog fight or flight. I mean, fight or flight. And
Yes.
we evaluate everything.
Trainability.
Yeah, put everything into a computer system. The computer counting out the calculation of numbers. You know, so but the system is ahead went out very nice. Okay, we are not perfect. We do still a lot of bad things. Not so much as in the beginning. We are still learning. And everyone is not happy. Many people are happy. But this is the right way. Today, all the soldiers have dogs. We train everyone. No one need to waiting so long time to get a new dog and stuff like this. So it's a fantastic way to in this case making the German Shepherd a little better at least.
Yeah. So if like for the people that listen, and of course I'm selfish here, during the 40 minutes, if you have to break down the most important traits, the most important characteristic that you want to see in a dog, what would those be?
Environment stability. Because an environment stable dog also have the nerves, the courage, the memory, not to memory bad experience too well, forget easy. There's so much connected to if you are environmental stable or not.
Yes, very true. Because
Um,
environmental sensitivity, it's highly generic, and it suppresses function.
and Ivan, that's the only thing that separates the good sport dog from a good service dog today, because there's only one, what I know, only one competition that really checking environmental stability, and that is a rescue sport.
Mm.
In IGP, we have no checking of the environment stability. Monitoring your
I mean, we
jumping
have
into
the
this.
gunshot, but the gunshot
Yeah, but come on,
weak.
gunshot
But
to climbing up 30 meters up
yes,
on the stairs. You can see what you call the stairs with like fence. What do you call them?
ladder. Yeah.
Uh, to working up there to find drugs, weapon, or to bite people 30 meters up, or on the ship in the water in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
who's waving like this, go down from a helicopter, searching there. Come on.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, the sport dog have prey drive. They run off the ball, they bite, they can bark, they can search on the ground, tracking, but to do it in different environments, we have not tested the last 100 years in the sport dogs.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have good breeding dogs in the sport who is very weak in the different environments.
Yeah.
And
That's the I mean, IGP. I love IGP. Belgian ring is probably the sport that will expose environmental instability the best of all sports.
but it's too small, It's too
Yes,
small
it's very
numbers of
small, and
dogs.
it's actually even it's even smaller today than even
Yeah,
10 years ago,
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
I agree. And then also monitoring, you have different environmentals, much better than, for example, IGP, who have green grass
Yeah,
and dirt in the tracking. Hopefully,
yeah,
otherwise you're never testing. Okay, no, the RSV and the SV have a kind of a temperament test, Wesen test, they call it in German. They have some tables to try. That's much better than nothing.
something.
Much better.
Yes, I agree.
That's much better than nothing. So I like it that
Mhm.
try. They try at least to change it. Yeah.
What about going, like I just mentioned Belgian ring, and I still remember me, and it was a big lesson for me when I first started breeding, and I was gonna get dogs, and like it's a very common in the Belgian ring to where the breeders would be like I would look at a female that they just bred, and she doesn't, she has no interest to bite even, but they will say, well, she's excellent mother and her bloodline is what we are after.
True.
How do you guys, what do you ever consider female like this in the program, or you know?
Yes, of course. So there are different things in the box, many eggs in the basket. The best working dog female necessary is not the best producer.
Right.
We have seen that a lot when we're testing these dogs. I mean, the mother of a puppy, of a litter, must be calm, stable.
And caring for the puppies, right?
So, and you never know it before the first litter, because you have to test them. And the system we have in Sweden in the armed forces, that every female get normally 2 litters before we evaluate if she can continue or not, because one can be like
Yeah.
bad luck or whatever. Every male get that we put in the breeding have 3 litters first, bang bang bang, and then they wait, they stop to use him for a certain period to evaluate his offspring.
Yeah.
If he produce, he can have another 1 or 2, maybe 3, but then we start to use the sons from him directly, because then the genes get stronger and stronger and everything, so easy explained. This is the way. And the females in Sweden can have maximum 5 litters. Maximum 5. Many of them mostly have like 3, 4. And then they are using the daughters the same way. So, yeah. That's the system they use. So, correctly. Not the hardest, fastest, biggest, best biters is the best producers. No,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, very that yeah,
But
I
the
feel the
problem
same.
is, the problem in the dog sport world, I think it's the same with the Malinois, but for German Shepherds for sure, is that the breeders must use famous males, otherwise they don't get rid of the puppies.
Yes.
That's the worst that
Yes.
happen. And there's again the social media and all these databases who promote nice dogs, famous dogs, the champions.
Yes.
People go there, breeder, no match, bad match. They go there, breed, get rid of the puppies, and they get nothing out. Maybe they should use the farmers German Shepherd registered with no titles.
Yes,
Maybe
because
that is the one you should use. But
yes.
no, they travel hours to the champion and use that one and think this is a perfect because I get rid of my puppies.
Yeah.
So that's another problem we can talk about.
And the
later on.
genetic pool, the number of dogs, they just start to get so narrow, and it's this one, no matter how good it is, eventually the good starts to become weak and neurotic because there is nothing new coming in, nothing strong to keep it fresh. And
Yeah.
do you have access to, like, let's say, once the dog goes into the army, and are you following up, and can you use these dogs that are already out there for stud?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, of
because
course.
that's really,
So yes, so that has been much better the last years. But yes, they're following up the job, especially the breeding males. So the breeding females will not go in work mainly. They stay at families because it's difficult for them if they are abroad for a service working. We cannot use them. They go in heat and are not in Sweden. So it's mainly the males who
yeah.
we use females also, but not the breeding females are not in service work.
Mhm.
So and we also collected the semen from them, using semen and stuff like this. So the breeding wars, the responsibles, they do fantastic work to make this going on and make it better. Yeah.
What do you think of the more broad picture of the German Shepherd world? Is the breeding overall improving? Is it staying the same? Or compared to, like, let's say 15 years ago or 20 years ago, where is the German Shepherd in the world today?
I hate to say it, that it was better before or something. It sounds like we are like dinosaurs again. I am very nervous about the civilian side of that breed.
The
Yes,
breeding, yeah.
I am worried because it's for me. I'm also a civilian breeder, as you know.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to find dogs for breeding.
What is
Males.
like, if you give two of the main concerns that you
I
would always
see.
watch, like, okay, I see a good German Shepherd, what would be the two things that you want to really make sure that they have or they can do in order for you to say, okay, these boxes have to be checked?
First of all, I see too much. I recognize too much of a dog already on distance. This is, I mean, think about it, 4,000, more than 4,000 temperament tests.
Yes.
So, I mean, as extreme specialist, of course, in that breed.
Yes.
So sometimes I want to close my sense of attention for, yeah, stop, don't think about
Just
that.
to give it a chance.
Yeah,
Maybe you're
please.
wrong.
Because I find problems in every dog, including my own dogs, of course. First of all, I say a dog must say yes, thank you to the life. Opened. Come on. Hello.
Yes. Even when you're on a bad mood, the dog makes you happy just
Socially.
looking at
I
him.
mean, I love to stay in the World Championship, national. I love to stay on the veterinary check. I just stay there, a little bit, drinking a coffee, say nothing. Like, see them when I'm coming there. You know, they'd say that character test is amazing. You know what I mean? Some dogs showing up with a ball in the mouth. Not why do they do that? When the veterinary start to check them, checking everything. I mean, you see a lot. I am not interested in the grip. I'm not interested in how fast they come in the long attack. I'm not interested in how they grab the dumbbell. And nowadays, especially with German Shepherd, there are so many of the lines is so lazy. They have stopped. They need rewards. I mean, the Malinois breeds in general, in that case, is far ahead. Then the Belgian breeds have other problems for sure, but the willing to please for working for nothing is today not the same. I mean, I don't know if you remember the old. We can say this. I mean, that's a really one. I mean, he was world champion '92, so this is a couple of many years back, you know. Ori Hausantwerper from Roger Snollerts and Masuda later on, and all those dogs during that period. I mean, look at the dogs, how they answer a small correction from the handler. Get active, come on, we want to do this.
They had the heart.
If you do that today on the German Shepherd, wrong lines, either they bite you, attack the handler, or they get weak and don't want to go out of the car anymore. Not all lines. There is still fantastic lines, but I say it again, we breeders have destroyed because we have used popular dogs to get rid of the puppies easy.
Yeah.
We are not every time using the best producers.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, that's not easy in the civilian world, just as you said.
No.
Like you have to sell the puppies. Like fortunate enough that I've done it long enough.
You can do it.
That I
can do it, Ivan.
I have people waiting for puppies all the time, like a long list for people waiting, and then I can afford to do what most civilians cannot. I can breed to that one dog that nobody knows and will never know. But yeah, this is very interesting stuff. What about the structure? Because like to me, the dogs, when they, like for me, when I look at German Shepherd and I see everything and I'm like, okay, I like it. But then it comes to the 1 meter jump and I'm like paying attention, like I'm really paying attention. How is the dog free when it jumps, or is it in its head? Or is it only in its head, but is it also the structure? Like what do you think of comfort structure quality?
Sure, it's jumping techniques is 100%. You can fix a bad genetic, and you can destroy a good one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's definitely, look at the Dobermans, for example.
Yeah.
Look at how many Dobermans do you see jumping bad? They always stretch the back legs, no?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also a question of the prey drive, because the Dobermans maybe not have the extreme prey drive as an extreme Malinois or an extreme German Shepherd. So when you put in the prey, the dumbbells in this case, and stupid training jumping at the same time, you destroy good genetics too. So I know lines that have problems with jumping, but I also know lines that are super nice jumpers, but the people where people have destroyed it. So of many times the jump techniques are connected to how do you teach them
training
in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And people say that some lines, some breeds have more or less problems, but I say yes, it's possible, but the training systems is also very strange. I mean, you know that you never teach your dog to jump after a ball. You should never do that. Ivan Balabano should never teach a dog to jump after a ball. No one do it. We do it. We teach the dog to jump, and then after, when everything is correct, we put in the dumbbells at the last. But you don't use. I mean,
because you're not allowing the dog to focus on the jump at all, and then all of a sudden we have a problem.
And so and we teach them long jump before high jump to teach them to stretch and all these different things. So the critic that we say now that we may be changing the angle of the A-frame, I don't think that will destroy any breed. If before there were 2 meters stride and jumping, okay, you destroyed some dog. The jumping issues is not. I know very bad training systems where they destroy the dog's jumpings. When the dogs get afraid of the jump.
Yes,
and you can take the best breed, the best individual dog, and destroy them.
Yeah, I agree.
And people do stupid things in panic when they start to touch the jump instead of using the head and be calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So start to punish dogs who's touching and stuff like stupid things.
Yes,
so
you really literally create the problem.
Yeah.
And you get in the dog's head, for sure.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Good.
I don't know how much time you have. Can I ask one more or few more?
For sure.
Okay, good. Because I know people would love this conversation, and I'm curious. Let's break down tracking. We have the IGP tracking. I'm assuming that you guys in the military do some tracking. What is different? What do you guys?
Okay. No, the service dogs tracking is very opposite in general. Police dogs, military, than for example, the IGP track. This is not logic at all. The reasons I love the IGP track is because it's when I started, I didn't do the same as I do in work every day. I mean, the tracking for a service dog is more search work than really tracking, actually. And when we create a good IGP dog, we are stretching the way how a dog can concentrate on a smell, more like the classic old mine detection dogs,
Yeah.
to go slowly on a certain line to detect mine. And if you go too fast, you will explode. So the IGP is a more like a mix between the service dog's search track and the service dog's mind searching style. And so we all IGP dogs can track super nice with full tight line, full speed when the grass is so high. It's no problem.
Yeah.
And stay in the middle and take all the corners and mark all objects. It's no problem. Many can do that. But the one who can on dry dirt, super windy, stay in the middle. When it comes to the corner, evaluate the corner with open mind, not closed, not afraid to make mistakes, to take this corner with high concentration, to mark and indicate the article for the handler in a positive way without touching. That's a master
It's
training.
a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see. No
That is
question.
the most difficult part of our program, Ivan.
Yeah.
The one who can do that is the best trainers in the world. Finish.
Yeah.
We can compare that type of training system to the people who teach dolphins to jump 20 meters in a ring or have a ball on the nose or whatever, you know what I mean. I mean, if you can solve that, because if you killing your dog with bad methods, the dog will not show nice attitude in the corners or when they're losing the smell, and they will get killed by the judges. If you are not teaching the dog the respect for the smell, they teach like a Formula One car, they will run out in the first corner on the hard, dry dirt. So, tracking is the master part of the program, and I love it.
How do you ever take something from the army to put into the tracking for IGP and from the IGP to put something into the
For
military
sure, I
tracking?
can. For sure, I cannot. Okay, I'm mainly trained because of my civilian knowledge from my. I get my first German Shepherd when I was 12 years old, and I have always have dogs. I have a Australian Silke Terrier before that one. So, but of course, my educations in my work have given me experience that I can use in the competition and opposite. So, I mean, we have many service dogs who never comes to the end because they're tracking so bad. I mean,
Right.
they're running around in the leech and that they're losing the tracks too often. So we can implementate the curiosity, the sharpness from IGP for sure into the service work, little bit,
Yes.
and you can definitely put in the drives and the concentrations from the mind searching or for the man searching into IGP. So of course you can balance this too, also in the beginning of the training, for sure.
Yeah. That
But we
is.
have tracked together, you and me,
Yes.
2014. You remember in
Yeah. Oh,
Sweden?
of course. Of course. Yeah. Um. I mean,
And
it's.
tracking is for me the number one art of the everything.
You
Yeah.
know, recently I made a post on social media because I was genuinely curious to hear from people, and I got interesting comments. And like I mean, with your experience, it would be very interesting to hear your opinion on this. My question was about a dog that's tracking IGP tracking dog that maybe it's high nose, what you would call, and a little open mouth. However, makes the track very well. And sometimes I'm thinking, well, if the dog makes it without problems, but it doesn't show that intensity, is it because it's too easy? Is it because it doesn't have motivation and genetically, like like, how do you separate and how do you score sometimes dogs that would do that? Would that necessarily right away be deduction in points? Or, you know, like when you have a dog that
I understand.
can track, he finds his corners, he tracks identical to any good tracking dog, but for some reason they are a little open mouthed. What do you think? Not that I have, this is totally
no. I
out of,
understand,
yeah,
and this is a good question. So open mouth or not open mouth or whatever, this high up or this high up. As soon as they do the work, he's positive. He tried to find everything. It's very hard to take points away from it. Yeah. On the other hand, you can say you can try to taste, smell a nice wine with open mouth.
yes, yes. A
You
lot of
can
dogs get sent also from,
Yeah, I know. We too. We also. But you can never have maximum uh, attention with open mouth. So, but still, as a judge, you can never take anything if the dog make no mistake,
yeah,
even if the mouth is closed or open. I work a lot to teach my dogs to not open the mouth. When I'm working with them in summertime, it's very warm, just like 10 steps, 10 meters, 10 steps before I see they start to open, I stop them. We take it easy. We rest. Give little food. So they never get advantage to open the mouth. If you pay attention to that in the beginning, so as soon as your dog start to open here, is the next step is to open the mouth
yes,
because they need to ventilation. It's warm. I say, okay, stop, plats, ligg, duktig, good boy, good girl. Give food, take it easy. I can wait 5 minutes if it's necessary. And then we continue again, maybe 10 steps again, 20, 40. And as soon as they start to open, we take it easy. So I never let them in the
I love it.
beginning. Yeah.
I love it. How
But you have
often?
to pay attention. You have to pay attention in the beginning, Ivan, because if you don't do it and they get advantage to complete the track with full open mouth, they will open mouth directly because they
Yes,
get smell and a smell from a human being in grass or in easy dirt. This is no problem for a dog
yes,
1 hour old. It's nothing. I mean,
yes.
come on.
For the
Good.
people that are listening, that are doing IGP, if you want to give them some advice, tracking advice, beginner trainers that are starting tracking or have problems with tracking, any kind of more general suggestion that typically people we see making mistakes when they start to teach tracking. What would you?
Yeah, the biggest mistake is that the first mistake is that people before they track have no obedience, control over the dogs. Puppy, young dog, whatever. So they cannot go on the street with loose line before they start to track. This is number one. So because I see too many trainers give the dogs full power with full tight line the first 2 months, 1 month, 1 year, and then suddenly they figured out they will go with slow tempo.
Yeah.
No, directly we teach the dog this is the speed. Please, can you do it? Teach your dog what is slow, what is fast. I go in the city, on the street, on the road. I go with slow, slow. Okay. Running, yeah. Then I run with my dog. Slow again. This is slow. Do good girl, good. You understand me?
Yes.
And I continue. When my dog can handle that on the side, I go to the track with my food. First time, not the second time, not the fifth time. Slow. And then I can tighten the line up and give my dog the opportunity to go with the higher speed. And then I say slow again. This is the only tip I will tell everyone. Before you start to track, have communication with your dog. don't make 10, 15 tracks with tight lines, because when the dog pull you in the line, he will miss the step, the smells from the step. It's
Yeah.
not possible for a dog with full power in the line to recognize every piece of food or every step.
Yeah.
Please.
Because a lot of the brain is busy with the line instead of the
They are
nose.
pulling you and
Yes.
they want to go forward, and in the
Yes.
end of the track is very happy.
What would you
Stop that.
tell? What would you tell? In your opinion, what is a sufficient number of trucks? Like just to clarify my question, I have sometimes people, oh, I'm gonna start trucking. How often you truck? I go on Sunday. I'm like, not enough. What do you suggest? What to you is kind of the optimal number? And it's probably different also for every dog. I mean, some dogs we can track twice a day, and some dogs are like, one time is
No, no.
enough.
Yeah, I understand.
But in the beginning, what is the optimal number on average that somebody should start when they start tracking?
Amateurs minimum 2, 3, 4 times a week if possible,
Yeah.
and give the breakfast in the track if you can, or the night dinner in the track if you can.
Yeah.
Professionals, I can tell you, during a certain time when I teach my dogs, you can make 5, 8 tracks a day.
Yeah.
Not super long, everyone, but the routine, the tracking flag, the car, the roads, the different angles, everything. 5, 8 a day. Rosso, he was an excellent tracking dog. Everyone is the dogs I had. He made 100 points in the World Championship in Slovakia with this hard dirt. He was like, okay, at the end of his career, we tracked 2 or 3 times a week. In the beginning, we had around 20 tracks a week.
Yeah. Yeah, tracking. It's
And
just
my family knows this, my family knows how much I put in the tracking, and with all my groups did it. My group, the last year, 2025, in the World Championship in Slovenia, the only team that had excellent in track was my 5 dogs. Look at the results. All our 5 dogs get excellent in tracking.
love it.
The system works even if you live in Canada, USA, Italy, Denmark, or Sweden.
You know, when you said camera and tracking, I wish that, and I know it's not easy, but it shouldn't be that hard anymore, like 20 years ago. Why do we not film the tracking on the competitions? And we always
They
film.
do. They do.
And they start to?
Yes. The Slovenia, the track. I've seen more competitions.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All trackings are filmed. If you go to WUSV 2025 Nova Gorica, you can see all the tracks on working dog.
That's great.
Yeah.
I guess we don't do them in the Malinois world. At least I'm not sure, but I don't think they do it. What's your favorite phase? Like tracking.
Yeah. I love it.
And as far as, well, you kind of answered that question. Like, how soon, when you see a dog, regardless if it's protection, obedience, or tracking, how soon you can tell that dog gets my attention or that training gets my attention? When you recognize something of different quality, how quickly can you pick up?
I see. I am done with the dog's work pretty fast. So in tracking or in obedience and protection work.
And it's very hard to explain what exactly it is, right? But there is this. Oh, I see. You got my attention. I'm watching.
Yeah. But the same. What is the point you are? What could you point? This is the thing I look at. But
right.
But sometimes you have to give the team another chance. And the question is not if you can train only the best dogs and the best handlers. The question is if you can train the medium dogs and medium handlers to success. That's the most challenging and, for me, interesting. I mean, when you come with your show line dog there on the Masters, everyone says, "What the heck is this?" And you make the best obedience with that dog. You remember?
Yeah,
That's the challenging, isn't it?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
always interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
Great.
super conversation.
We have to continue.
We
Maybe
have
we'll
to.
do another one in 1 year or something.
We do have to. What's coming up? What's the program for you for this year?
So I
Competition,
have,
judging, what's going on?
yeah, some judging, yes. I have just taken the Mission Impossible. I have taken over a dog I bred for 5 years ago to try to fix him. Fantastic dog, super energy, super working abilities. 5 years old, trained for sure. A good girl have trained him, but he is trained by. He's very happy, and I need to stabilize this happiness into some concentration also.
Put it.
I'm struggling a lot with that, but it's a big challenge, and the family love the dog, and that's the thing. If I can come out this year or maybe not, I'm not sure. But this is maybe the first dog in many years I have super fun. He's line bred Rosso actually, so maybe that's the reasons I love him. You know, some dogs just go into your heart, even
Yes.
if they are not super easy to train. They stay anyway. And some dogs who say, "Okay, guys, the time for you and me is to separate now. We have seen enough of each other."
Yes.
But this guy is give me fun every day, so that's something. Continue the team. We have new dogs in the team is coming up. Try to motivate them. Try to motivate the other ones who have succeed. Try to motivate Natalie and my helper Niels. He's coming with a new dog. He was 11 last year, first World Championship, 24 years old.
Wow.
He have a new dog. So yeah, life goes on.
That's how I ended up with my fourth dog. That like there is some similarities of what I do. Very similar thing with the dogs that I train. So I would breed. I would select certain puppy to train for like personal protection, because it's part of what my business is. Like I would sell protection dogs to people that really need it. Like people that really need them. And there are places in the world, as you know, to where there is all sorts of kidnapping and all sorts of things that are happening. And so what I do very much the same as in your program in the army. I would select the puppy and I will give it to somebody that I know and I trust, raise it to 14 months or so. So he came back at 14 months. And he would have been worth a lot of money. And in day 2, I just couldn't. I'm like, I have to keep him.
Keep him, yeah.
And my wife, Natalia, is like, you're out of your mind. This is dog number 4. When you're going to have time? But exactly kind of how you got excited about the 5-year-old. That was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
It's crazy.
Fantastic.
So, thank you,
Super
man.
nice.
Thank you for this.
Thank
I will
you
see
so
you
much.
somewhere in the competition. And
we keep
beautiful
in touch
conversation,
sure.
Pierre.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
The best.
And see you later.
Absolutely, man.
And wish you best luck with the pod, everything.
Take care.
Ciao.